The following is paid programming.
It's time to talk taxes.
New friends, new opportunities, new partners. EG Tax.
It's Ask the Tax Lady with Esther Gulius and EG Tax on News Radio 930 WBEN. To reach Esther now, call 803-0930. Toll free at 1-800-616-9236. And cell calls are free at star 930. And now, live from the WBEN studios, it's Esther Gulius.
Hey, everybody, it's the Tax Lady, and this is our hour to talk taxes, and we're going to keep you up to date on everything that's changing. Hopefully, we're going to give you something to think about to make your finances be better. And if you're getting love letters from the IRS, we want to help you. That's what we're here for. I'm Esther Gulius, the Tax Lady from EG Tax. I'm joined in studio with Tiffany Fabian. Hey, Tiff.
Hey there, Esther. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday to you. And Christopher.
Hello, Esther.
Fabian. Hey, Chris. So we were at the auction today at Niagara Catholic, right?
Yep.
And that was really something.
It was.
We ended up getting 150 computers.
Yeah, it was. There was lots of people there, and I think above all, it was just sad to see the school closing.
It's sad to see a school, especially a school that espouses fundamental moral values.
Yep.
That, they aren't afraid to say this is the way it's right. And that's a sad thing.
As I was walking in, they had little memorial bricks, and it said the class of 1946 and the class of 67, and so it's just been around for a long time.
So lots of nuns. I was going to borrow a habit from one of the nuns, and I thought, well, if I get the habit on, and I'm bidding, they're not going to bid against me, But of course I didn't. But it was very, very interesting. As a matter of fact, it's still going on right now. Right?
Yes.
Yep.
All right, Chris, Tiff, anything happening new that people need to know about?
Well, I just got to I'm working hard, so I got to mention that October 13th is our seminar at What's the Buzz, and it's going to have Jeff Katz there talking about elder care law, Esther Gulius talking about tax reform,
Really?
Imagine that.
Dennis Kitchen talking about general law. We're going to have Boron there, Jeff Boron, talking about college planning. We're going to have Mike Hayfleck talking about Social Security. We're going to have Tim Eliason talking about healthcare. And so just
a lot
great,
of stuff.
Yep.
And
so
it's absolutely free, and I think you'll find it to be interesting. By then, you'll see the leaves turning, maybe a little breeze in the air.
Yeah.
Fall should
I
be
like
on
fall.
I like it because I get to wear heavier clothes, and it covers up a lot of the imperfections of my body.
You have no
And if
imperfections.
you want to register for that, give us a call at 632-7886.
And can you register online, too?
And you can register online at egtax.com.
All right, so anything else? All right, New York State just came up with a brand new credit for making a contribution to either the health care trust or the education trust that they're setting up, because I think you're going to see that they don't have the money to fund education, and they don't have the money to fund health care. And so if you want to give a contribution to the health care or the education trust, you'll get an 85% credit on your New York State return. So that's brand spanking new.
That's cool. It's a good option.
And then next week, and this week we're going to talk about pension planning, how important it is, and for you, and some statistics that maybe will make you want to do something about pension planning. But next week, our special guest is Don Gribner, right?
Gribner, yep. He's a certified real estate appraiser. And he's the president of a company, and it's called the Real Property Services, and all they do is help you to lower your property taxes legally, of course.
Right, and he did a phenomenal job for us.
Yep.
So all I can tell you is next week you want to listen to that. Okay.
And by the way, somebody texted in, FYI, it's raining in Grand Island, not clear there.
Okay. Well, I thought it was going to rain.
It looks like
I was telling Jay, I think you better roll up your windows. All right. Planning for retirement. And I got to ask you, are you ready? I'll tell you, I read an article this week that says it's in Senior Living blog from A Place for Mom states that over 74% Americans are not ready to be a retiree. They think that they're going to live on Social Security. And the average Social Security check in 2017 was $1,386. So that's tough to live on $1,386. moreover, Social Security is projected to run out of money in 17 years. That's based upon Market Watch dated July 17, 2018. So, and if you go to Social Security, you're going to see that that's what they're going to tell you. And I it's interesting because I mentioned this to Tiff, and she said, well, they have to fix it. Well, but when they fix it, what's the fix going to be like?
Probably won't be as good as it is currently, is usually what I've seen.
So statistically, Americans on average only contribute 6.2% of their income to their pension plan, and that's down from 6.9%. And when you take a look at some of these financial planning sites, they say 10% would be the minimum you want to contribute to your pension. So, but the average person in the United States, American, only has about $17,000 set aside if you're between the ages of 56 to 61 for retirement. And so what we want to do in this show is and again, you're free to call 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on your cell phone, and talk about anything tax related. But the important thing is sometimes you just got to get your head in the game, you know, so you can make that decision to say, you know what, Monday morning, I'm going to do something about this.
And you know, I did a consultation a couple of days ago in the office, and it was a gentleman who retired at a fairly youngish age, 60 something, and he had quite a bit of money set aside. And he said that he tried to teach his children the same thing, is to be smart and frugal with your money. He said he tried to teach them from a very young age what is an asset and what isn't an asset. And so he says, for instance, clothes aren't an asset or a car necessarily. And so, for as a matter of fact, he's going and he notices that sedans are on the lower end. Nobody's buying sedans, so he has to go get a new car, and he's going to make sure he gets a sedan because a car's not an asset, and it'll get a really good price for it. So he's been really smart with his money, and he came in to get some financial counseling.
Well, you know, and that's the whole thing, is living below your means, and that's tough. You know, because especially with credit cards, you know, all of a sudden you're in credit card debt. But when in preparing for today's show, some of the articles that I read said that people don't realize how many years after retirement they're going to live, and so you have to plan for having that kind of money available. And so the other thing is, don't forget about health costs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, so as we move into retirement, you got to think about, should I think about changing my house into my kids' names, you know, like through a life estate or through gifting, or should I just make sure you have a will? Aretha Franklin had no will. $80 million net worth. Yeah. That's something. Really, I mean, if you don't have a will and you're driving right now, make a mental note. Monday, do it. It's so cheap, and you don't want the state of New York to decide who gets your assets. No. That's something you should decide.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And then, not to mention, when you don't have a will, it goes into probate, and you pay higher taxes.
That's right. You got to pay the probate guy. So I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady. 8030930. 8030930, star 930 on your cell phone. We're going to take a short break. We're going to talk more about retirement planning and your calls on the other side. Hey, I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax, and we're kind of talking today about getting ready for retirement. What a boring subject that is. Yeah, until you retire and then you don't have any money left. But I hope, you know, sometimes it just takes somebody to use a word in due season, you know, somebody to kind of prick your mind and say, you know, you really ought to get a handle on this. And I'm going to tell you, I don't care what age you are, if you're planning on being alive, you should plan on a retirement, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You know, and last week we talked about, you know, how to have $500,000 tax-free every 2 years. How is that?
Selling your house.
Sell your personal house, and it's completely tax-free up to $500,000 if you're filing a joint return, $250,000 if you're single. My gosh, and right now is such a great time to list your house, and that would be a great thing to use for your retirement.
Oh, we got like 3 texts rolling in. You want to answer one of them?
all right, give me
The first one is Auntie Esther. What do you think of reverse mortgages? Dave Ramsey says never, never. Thank you and God bless.
Okay, so you pay a lot of money for a reverse mortgage because, and I don't really always agree with Dave Ramsey because he always talks about never borrowing money, and I think that if you're using borrowed money to leverage it to buy a piece of investment property or mortgage, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Some of the people that have taken Dave Ramsey's advice have bad credit because they have no credit. So you want to be wise with the use of credit. Anything in excess is no good, but you want to be in control. So a reverse mortgage where basically you're a senior and you need some extra money and you don't really want to leave any assets maybe to your children. A reverse mortgage basically gives you your equity in your house either in a lump sum or over a period of time. You're going to pay quite a bit in closing costs and a very usurious, a very high interest rate on the reverse mortgage. But the thing is, upon your death, even if the house is upside down, you owe more than the fair market value upon your death, there is a life insurance policy you're paying for in your reverse mortgage, and it'll clean up the bank. But of course, there might not be anything left to leave to your heirs if you want to. But in the meantime, if that's what your desire is, it is your money. It is not the best thing you'd want to do necessarily from a financial standpoint.
It was designed to keep seniors in their home who couldn't afford to otherwise.
Right.
So they're.
But you're giving up a lot of the equity. But again, if that's what you want, some people absolutely want to stay in their home, and if that's what they want to do, they can live in that home forever and ever and ever, right? And don't have to make a house payment, except for they got to keep it up and keep the insurance and the property taxes up to date.
Correct.
Let's go to the phones. We'll talk to Mike. Hey, Mike, how can we help you?
Hey, how are you today?
Good. What can we do for you, sir?
Hey, I'm calling because I'm pretty young and I want to best plan for the future.
Good for you.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to see where should I be looking to invest the side money I have with work. I'm already maxing my 401k contribution.
So how old are you, Mike?
I'm 22 years old.
All right, so you're doing 18.5? You're putting 18.5 away in your pension plan?
Exactly.
Good for you.
Probably.
Then you have extra over and above that, correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Are you single or married?
Single.
That's why he has money.
I was thinking
Chris.
every once in a
Chris.
while. I was thinking a house.
Well, do you own your own home?
I'm still renting right now because I'm unsure if I'm going to be moving in the next 3 to 5 years.
Okay, so looking for investment property, have you talked with a financial planner about investing in the market?
I am looking into a Roth IRA to start.
Now, how much is your income approximately, Mike, per year?
It's around $60K.
Okay, so that's interesting because I'm going to talk about this as the show goes on, but with the change in the tax law, with the higher standard deduction, with the lower interest, with the lower percentage that they're charging on taxes, there is less and less benefit in a Roth than before. Many people put money into a Roth and they don't take the tax advantage because they're not going to get any tax advantage by putting it in a Roth. Then when they take it out, it's not going to be taxed either because the standard deduction is so high and the tax rates are so low that you aren't going to pay taxes at the end. So many times you end up shooting yourself in the foot. So a Roth may not be bad, but maybe it's not as good as what you could do if you put it in a traditional. Because you're not a teacher, are you?
No.
But if you do continue to max out your 401k plan, so you have $1 million plus then at that point in time, when you retire, you might have a taxable pension plan. It all depends on what's in the future. But in his case, a Roth might work.
Yeah, right. But I think what Esther, correct me if I'm wrong, but until he reaches $1 million, he should maybe consider traditional.
Well, the thing is, because you're not doing Roths 401ks, though, are you, Mike?
No.
He's doing traditional there.
Good. Yeah.
So I would talk to I would take a look at investments as far as real estate. Maybe you want to buy an investment piece of property, personal home, and you get the tax benefits for that. Your Roth right now, because you're maxing out your 401k plan, may not be a bad thing. In the future, you may make out far better than many people who don't put very much at all into their 401k, and they aren't going to get any benefit when they retire. I talked to a financial planner. Live below your means. Are your student loans paid off?
Yes.
Boy, you're like the poster child for doing good, Mike. You should give yourself a big star.
I tried my best. I went to state school because in the end I thought, it's the same degree I'm getting.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I want to tell you, that's how I feel. You are a smart kid.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for calling.
So I got, there's so many text calls, I can't even keep up. Can you address cashing out retirement accounts during or after divorcing, needed to divide, and our cash out deferred comp pensions?
All right. If it's, Chris, why don't we talk about that? If you have a divorce and you had a quadro, right?
Yep.
Where the court has ordered you to give part of your pension plan to your former spouse, what happens in that situation?
Well, that's all tax-free. The spouse doesn't have to pay tax on it. It's not alimony, so there's no tax implication at all.
So hopefully whoever wrote this is not thinking of really cashing out.
Right.
Because cashing out would be not a good thing
then
to do.
It would be
right.
taxable.
You want your lawyer to do it as a quadro.
As a quadro.
Right. You want to do a quadro so that the court orders that distribution be made from your pension plan to your spouse. That's all done without you touching the money, and it'll be completely tax-free because it's rolled over from your account into your former spouse's account, and it'd be tax-free for them until both of you take the money out.
Correct.
Okay.
That's right.
And then what else we got?
Well, there was something about Social Security, but it was so long gone.
Oh, it was about they should just release the cap at 118 and make everybody pay on all your income.
That's not a bad idea because Social Security really is upside down, and there is a cap on wages. And, that's something, maybe that's what they're going to look at in the future. But right now, Social Security is definitely in trouble. And it really has nothing to do with whether you're a Democrat or Republican. Everybody keeps kicking the can down the road, and someday it's going to be a big problem.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, the cap. Anyway, releasing
I was going to say, you have more and more people living longer, and then you have more and more people going on Social Security disability.
That's right, because all the baby boomers and everything, right?
Yep.
Okay, let's go back to the phones, and we got Walt. Hey, Walt, how can we help you, sir?
Hi, I got a cousin called me the other day. He's living in Washington State now. He used to work in.
Oh, he's so lucky. There's no straws left.
No plastic straws.
No plastic straws in Washington. Okay, Walt.
That must be the reason he's thinking about going back to New York, where you. I can't figure that one out. But he used to be a teacher in Massachusetts, and the partial pension he has now in Washington State is not taxed. If he moves to New York State, I'm sure they'll probably tax it, huh?
Not necessarily. The first $20,000, if you have a New York State pension, or if you have a federal pension, or if you have a local pension, then all of your pension, regardless of your age, in New York State is tax-free. However, if you have a non-New York State pension, IRA, or pension from another state, then the first $20,000 you receive is going to be tax-free on your New York State return if he moves back.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. One quick. We were mentioned in a will, and the person that died.
Did they mention you nicely?
Huh?
Did they mention you nicely?
Well, not bad. My wife and I are in a hurry for the money, but we have a friend that we were all friends, and she also got mentioned, but she's in desperate need of money. Her husband's so bad and so sick, and medical bills and stuff like that. But anyway, it was a year and a half ago the will come out, and he had all his dots dotted and I's dotted and everything. But a year and a half later, the lawyer is looking for cousins or something throughout the United States, throughout the world. I don't know. It just seems ridiculous to us. Is there some way to look into that and see?
You really would have to talk to an attorney about that. I'm not an attorney, so I couldn't help you. Jeffrey Katz, who's a wonderful elder care attorney that we work with. What's his phone number, Chris? You know?
633-3363.
Or Dennis Kitchen. Give them a call. They'll both help you out with free.
Yeah, I mean, he may be if they're mentioned in the will, he may have to try to find them.
Other heirs. Yeah.
Yep. But you would think he would distribute.
But again, talk to your attorney.
Okay.
What were you saying, Chris?
Okay, Walt?
Real quick, what's the difference between talking to you guys and talking to a tax lawyer? Is it you take care of everything?
Well, I mean, we do everything. A tax lawyer is going to be somebody that would take you to tax court. And we can actually go to tax court with you to a certain dollar amount. And we don't charge to go to tax court. So I guess the difference would be maybe $100,000 in fees.
You can ask all the questions related to financing.
Absolutely, we can.
Oh, wonderful. Hey, God bless you guys.
Thank you, Walt.
Show. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. We're going to take a short break for the news. Give us a call on the other side.
And we're back. It's Chris Fabian with Tiffany Fabian with EG Tax, here to help you with whatever tax questions you have. 803-0390 and star 930 on your cell phone. Give us a call here. Well, whatever tax questions you have, whether it's retirement or not, we are here to help you. You can keep those texts coming in at 3930. We love to help you. That's what we do.
That's right. That's what we do. And there's a follow-up text question. It says, if you do actually need cash, this is the person who's in the divorce situation, withdraw funds, liquidate, is it better to do it through the spouse holding the account before the divorce or go through splitting and then taken out when tax and penalties are there? How do you figure out and net value each cash account? And so I'm
That's an interesting question because they shouldn't make you cash out your retirement account.
No, but it sounds like they needed cash. And so I'm wondering if they do it, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, when they're married, the tax liability would be less?
But no, because if the divorce is getting final now, they're going to be single. So it's whosever name it's going to be and it's going to be taxed. What I would suggest doing is giving us a call on Monday at 632-7886 so we can ask you a lot more questions, go over it. Maybe you want to make an appointment and we could see what's going on to properly advise you.
Because that goes with anybody who's going through a divorce situation. You should, before you sign on the dotted line, you should always talk to a tax advisor and make sure that the right boxes are checked and the details are all correct.
Right, and especially now the child, we see it with children. Mm-hmm. The custodial, non-custodial, who gets to claim the children. And especially now with the new law, the child tax credit going up to $2,000, you want to make sure you're getting your fair share when it comes to taxes.
That's right. And I've seen people who have gotten divorced and the custodial parent never gets to claim the child, and going and fixing it afterwards is just very costly and a frightful experience. Right. So beforehand, get it straight.
And if you have minds like me, Tiffany, Esther, and you want to learn taxes, our tax school starting in October. We have morning classes and evening classes. West Seneca, Amherst, Niagara Falls, Tonawanda, online. We have a class near you. Give us a call at 632-7886. Go to our website at egtax.com, and you can register right there. So we want to share our knowledge with you.
Yeah. And then if you're getting letters, make sure you give us a buzz and don't just pay it. Make sure you get a second opinion. So planning for retirement, and I think Esther was, she's right. She's dead on. The average retirement that a person has right now between the ages of 56 and 61 is $17,000. And so what to do? Allow yourself to think about it. Don't shove it under the rug. Don't put it under the pillow. Focus on it. And like that young man who called earlier, make plans. I think the financial guys always say, what's their favorite saying?
You don't plan to fail. You fail to plan.
Exactly. So make sure you have a plan.
And one of the things, you talking about planning and their savings being low is, I know a lot of people come in, well, I got to pay for my kids' education. Mm-hmm. And, so they're using all their savings to pay for their education. Don't want to see them get into debt, but that's where you got to talk to them about going, like Mark, right? Or was Mike?
Mike.
Who went to a state school to save that tuition. And, you got to have the serious talk with the children so you can plan for your future. Don't just plan for their future.
That's right. And then prepare to live a long time. I think you mentioned earlier, Chris, that people are living longer, healthier. And so you want to prepare to live a long time, and you don't want your money, you to outlive your money. That's not a good plan. And so you want to make amends for that.
Right. And you give us a call here, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on your cell phone. Chime in with your tax questions. And you got to look when you're talking about retirement, it's how are you spending your money? Because that's a lot of times it's people who, they're used to making, we'll say $125,000. And then when they retire, between their Social Security and their pension, their income may only come down to $50,000 a year. So that's a big change in their life, how much income's coming in. So if you're not prepared to adjust your spending habits, you're going to be in trouble. And that's what we see. So you got to be really careful.
Yep. And make sure, maybe you have to make changes, like Esther said, where you're living. Maybe you have to live in a different place. And then also don't forget when you're retiring to sit down and tax plan. And a lot of people pay less taxes. And I know one thing is your property taxes, your school taxes will get reduced. And so you really, a budget is really important. I think I do for a lot of people retiring. I sit down and we do a budget together, and it's a free service, and it's really eye-opening so you can see where your money is going.
Right. And, and one of the big costs that we see nowadays for retirees is medical. Mm-hmm. I mean, people who go, I'm going to retire at 60.
Yeah.
But how much is that health insurance going to cost you from 60 to 65 before Medicare cuts in? I mean, so you got to plan your income according to that to see what plan, if you have to go on the exchange, what's the best plan for you? Don't always, Tim always says platinum, even though it's the best of the best, may not be the best for you because you could be overpaying for stuff you don't need. So you got to look at all your spending, not just food, your entertainment, but you got to look at your health care. You got to look at medical bills. You got to look at your home. You got to look at the whole picture to see what's the best thing to do. And we're going to go to Peter from Tonawanda. Hey, Peter, how can we help you?
Hey, Esther, you did my taxes once for me on the boulevard.
Thank you.
A while ago, I'm there every year. When's a good time to get your 401k and your savings into a more stable, so you don't, less risk?
That's a really good question. They always say the younger you are, the more aggressive, and as you get older, moving into a more savings, safer, less risky. And
right. So I would probably say starting around age 55. But that's me.
That's me right on the money.
Yeah, so you would want to talk to a financial advisor to see where you're going to stand, like how much money you have, and if you retire at 65, building, if now you want to lock it in at a 2% growth, how much is that going to give you, or a 3% growth, how much is that going to give you at 65 per year to take out?
Right, okay. Because I have all my ducks in a row, credit very good, very low debt, and that's one of the questions I'm going to be wanting to deal with in the future.
Yeah, and then don't forget, now that you're over the age of 50, you can contribute more. You can do the catch up in your 401k. And so are you maxing that out, which is like $24,000, which is $24,500 a year?
Esther, I'm 17 years into the state pension. And
Awesome.
That's good. Yep. Well, you can still do a 403b.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I've been comfortable. I've been doing 5% for 17 years.
Okay.
At about a mid-range risk.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. It's so smart what you're doing, and your credit is good. It's so funny, you know, we talk about all the time how your credit can impact so many different things, your insurance, getting a job, what you pay for a mortgage, a home equity, credit card rates. And so it sounds like you've dotted your I's and crossed your T's, which is really good.
Okay, and I appreciate your advice. I'll see you in January.
Okay.
We'll be
Thank
there.
you, sir.
Bye.
Yep. So, you know, there's another smart caller, you know, and I wish everybody was as smart as our callers are today. But I can tell you there's a lot of people out there who are going, oh, they're talking about us now. They're not, you know, we're not prepared. I told you, Bill, we need to get prepared. Well, you know, what are we doing? You know, that's going to be, and it is. How fast does it sneak up on us? You know, I know I just turned the magic age of 50 this month, and how, you know, I'm thinking, wow, I remember being 25 going, wow, that's going to be a long way away.
Mm-hmm.
But here it is. I'm now 50, and 65 is going to be around the corner sooner than later. My wife's going to be quiet because that means I'm going to be that age too.
Not before you, after you.
But I'm gonna take my father's advice. I'm only going to be 38 for the rest of my life.
There you go.
You know. And then I don't have to retire.
And then if we continue on, what to do, remember, prepare for spend 80% of your salary, including Social Security and other savings. And then, like Chris said, don't forget healthcare costs. I know I listen to you and me when we're tax planning with somebody, when they're thinking of leaving the state and they're going to go retire to Florida or Georgia or North Carolina, you always say, don't forget about the healthcare cost, you know?
Right.
Which can be really staggering.
Right. Yeah, because then you can be going into out of network, so you got to check with your insurance company. Is it really out of network? And because out of network is normally twice as much as regular if you stayed in New York. So you got to be really careful when you do move.
Even for like that gentleman who just called, if he is a New York State pension person, his health coverage might be only entitled for New York, but if he moved to a different state, that would be a horse of a different color, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
Yep. And then, we talked about 401ks and doing it through work, but what if you're self-employed? You know, what's the best retirement plan out there for you? Mm-hmm. Because there are different things. You can still do IRAs, but that limits you to, if you're over 50, to $6,500 a year. You know, or if you're under, then it's age 50, then it's only $5,500. There's SEPs, which is basically about 20% of your income, your net profit, you can put in. So if you have a good business, you may want to look into SEPs rather than a traditional IRA.
Yeah, when you have an SEP, you can really put in a lot of money. I know I had a client last year, I was doing his return, and he put in, my God, I don't know, it was like $28,000 into his SEP for the year. And so it's a really good way to plan and to maximize the tools that are in your tool chest, you know? And so it's a really good option, because a lot of people who are self-employed, you know, they're not paying into, some of them, they're not paying into Social Security as much. So that means that when they retire, their Social Security is very negligible. And that's a really difficult proposition to be in.
Right. And, people who, I don't report all my income because it's cash. I'm a cash business, and I'm not reporting all my income. And they think they're winning, and they're not. You know, they're saving a couple bucks now, but when they're 65 and they go to collect their Social Security, and Social Security says, well, you're only going to get $1,000 a month. And they're having a fit. Well, what do you mean? That's not right. I paid into it all these years. But they didn't it goes by what you pay in. And if you're not reporting all your income, your Social Security is not going to be as high as it should be.
That's
so
right.
you're going to continue working now to your 70, 75 just to make ends meet. So if you have questions for us, 632, that's our office number, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on your cell phone. Chris and Tiffany Fabian from EG Tax will be back after the break.
Goo Goo Dolls? Ah, Tiffy did good.
You know, Chris Fabian, Tiffany Fabian from EG Tax. We're here to help you with your tax questions. Today we're talking planning, retirement, whatever questions you have. Give us a call here at 632-7886. That's our office number again. 803-0930, 803-0930 here
Star
in
930.
studio. In star 930.
And I just want to, we were talking about divorce with that text caller. Don't forget, in 2019, if your divorce is finalized, then no longer can you deduct what it is that you pay for alimony, or if you're a recipient of alimony, you don't have to declare it as taxable income. So if that would persuade you one way or not another to finish your divorce in 2018, there it is. Just wanted to put that out there. And then also we were talking about to Roth or not to Roth. I've been noticing a lot of letters lately coming into the office where the IRS is charging people because they didn't pay tax on the money that they took out of the Roth. And so,
and I can hear everybody going, well, that's true. It's tax-free.
Well, the truth is if you don't do an 8606, the IRS is going to mail you a nastygram. And lots of people that I've talked to, I just talked to one the other day, and she's like, I was about to pay it, and then somebody where I work at said, oh, no, you don't have to pay it, because the truth is if you've had it in there for the last 2 out of 5 years, only the gain is taxable.
If you had it over 5 years and you're, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So you just have to amend the return and do a Form 8606 as long as, we have your basis information, and we'll do the Form 8606, and it makes it a lot more easier to swallow the pill, right? Wouldn't you say, Chris?
Right.
Yeah.
And we're talking planning, taxes. I was interviewed by a different radio station, and we're talking and how people use coupons, how people will penny pinch. I just saved 25 cents on my bottle of ketchup, and they're very proud of themselves. But when it comes to taxes, they don't think about that. They just go, oh, it's tax time. It is what it is, but there's so much planning that you can do to save the money, because
it's not 25 cents.
Right. And whose money is it?
It's my money.
It's your money. You want to keep your money in your pocket, and that's what we try to do this time of year. And our consultations, Tiff, are how much?
$0.
$0, free. Come in, run the numbers. Hey, I'm thinking of doing this. Is that a good idea? We'll go over it with you. We'll help you keep your money in your pocket.
That's a really good plan. And that's often more than just a few pennies.
And let's go back to the phones, and we're going to talk to Jose from Hamburg. Hey, Jose. Hello? Oh, Jose just hung up on us. He got radio shy.
It was a question about taxes, and so that's certainly
a very vague description.
Yeah. And then, we had the first caller who was like 22 or 23, and he was thinking of maybe putting money into a Roth. And so that's always an interesting proposition. Should we do a Roth, or should we do a traditional? And a lot of times we usually tout traditional IRAs, unless, if you have a really good government pension someday, or you have quite a bit of money into your 401k, then maybe Roths might be a good idea. But you really have to run the numbers and see where you are in your pension, in your 401k, in your investments and things like that, wouldn't you say?
Right. You got to look at your projected income for the future.
Right.
And
because, the truth is there's some people, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, I know this is that I have clients that have put quite a bit of money into a Roth, but the truth is when they retire someday, they don't even have to file income tax returns. So they have paid money, taxes on Roth IRAs, but the truth is when they retire, they don't even have to do an income tax return. So they have hence paid taxes on something that they would have never paid taxes on.
Exactly.
Yeah. So not.
So if they're in the 25% bracket right now, and they're $6,000, so that's $1,500 they gave the government in taxes. That in 10 years from now, they would have paid nothing on that money.
Gulp.
So they just lost $1,500 in 1 year.
Yep.
Thinking, I'm going to beat the government.
Right.
And normally, think about it. The government always gives these grand plans, right? Who eventually always wins?
The government.
The government. Right?
So when they say they have a grand plan, make sure you get a second opinion.
Yeah. Don't talk to Bob over the fence.
Yeah.
Talk to your tax person.
Yeah, and with the tax reform, there's a lot of nuances in it. So I really think that before you just rely on one person's opinion, get a professional opinion.
Yep. And we got a mystery caller. We don't see your name, so mystery caller, how can we help you?
Hello.
Hi. How can we help you?
Yeah, hi. My name is Jose. You unfortunately hung up on me. It's okay. Anyways, I have a 503 for my kids' education, and fortunately they're smart, and they've gotten some scholarships, but there's going to be a surplus in the account. What are going to be the tax implications on that? And then also, wasn't there a recent law that says that I could maybe use it for high school, too, as well? Can you just...
Right. You have the 509.
509, I'm sorry.
Yep. So the 509.
529.
529. Look, it took three of us. We each got one number right.
So anyways,
so 529. Right. For the federal government, they said you can use your 529 for grade school and high school. New York State said no. So the money you take out of the 529 for grade school and high school will be tax-free on the federal, but taxable on New York State.
We love Como.
Yes.
Now, what about the fact if he has excess in his 529 for the kids?
The nice thing about a 529 plan is it's transferable. Okay? So say you have 3 kids. The first one's got a full scholarship. You don't need the money. You then can transfer their money to child 2 and 3. So you're reallocating the benefit to the different beneficiaries. Okay? Then, say you're all done with all 3 in school. The third one has all this money, we'll say $40,000 left over. You have to age 30 to pull it out or transfer it to another beneficiary. So hopefully if that's your youngest and they're 30, you now have grandchildren. You can switch that 529 plan to your grandchildren.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a nice benefit.
And then don't forget if you take money out of the 529, you're still privy to the federal college credit if there were costs affiliated with the college. So it's just that when you take money out of the 529, you can't take the New York State college credit on the New York return, right. But you can still take the federal credit. Does that answer all your questions, Jose?
Yeah, that does. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Sorry about the dropping your call.
Yeah, and then, another thing, too, is if he did want to take out all the money, then you're going to pay tax on the excess on New York State. The federal, it's all going to be taxable. New York State, the growth will be taxable.
That's
so
right.
There's a couple different options. And if you guys have questions like that during the week, give us a call at 632-7886. See, now I can say that number. 632-7886. We're there Monday through Friday. We want to help you. egtax.com. Ask the tax lady. You'll get your answers probably within 2 hours. That's what we love. We love helping people. But planning, retirement planning, that is such a key thing. No one really thinks about it.
Yeah.
And it's something that you have to do.
Yeah.
Because, it's not, how many people ask you to, oh, isn't it when I hit 65, I don't have to pay taxes anymore?
I get that all the time, but that's not the case. It's based on your income. You could pay taxes for a very, very, very long time or forever. But you're right. A lot of people have misconceptions that it's only to the age, a magic age, but that's not the case. You could pay. It's based on your income, and so you could be paying taxes for a very long time. And so you really want to plan and make the right decisions, and you want to plan for, enjoying yourself and traveling and retiring and all that good stuff. And
and a lot of retire. Oh, I want to enjoy my money. Please do enjoy it. But you got to be careful, because now if your income, and I don't have the dollar limits in front of me, but you got to, if you're on Medicare and your income, I'm going to say, is $110,000, they could start charging you more for your Medicare. So you got to watch when you take, like if I need a new car and I'm going to take it out of my 401k, so I'm taking $30,000 out. Well, that $30,000 may trigger you to pay more for Medicare. So you may want to say, okay, well, in January I'll do it, and I'll take $15,000 out this year and $15,000 out next year to keep your income under that threshold.
And then I also wanted to say, I can't tell you how many times you meet with people and I meet with people, and they've squandered and they've saved and they've done all the right things. And then you and I say, and they say, what should we do now? And we're like, spend your money, go enjoy yourself, go on that trip, take your family out on a trip and enjoy
and they
yourself.
Look like they give you this look like you just swore at them.
Yeah, but go enjoy yourself.
Yep.
Go enjoy yourself, because that's what it's all about.
Make the memories now for your grandchildren, your children.
Yep.
I want them to enjoy it. Well, enjoy it with them.
Right.
It's so important to make those memories, because we take for granted that we're going to be here forever, and we may not be. And I know my kids, their grandfathers died young. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So their memories are very slim to none. And
then don't forget, we pay a lot in property taxes. If you haven't, in order to get the star reduction, you have to go register online.
To the New York State website.
Yep. So I have so many clients. I actually did that for them during tax season.
Yep. And the basic star, you register once in your house, you're fine. The enhanced star for the seniors, every year you have to do that.
Yep.
So you got to, make sure you do that, because that is a big tax savings right there, is the enhanced star. Yep. So this is Chris Fabian and Tiffany Fabian from EG Tax. 632-7886. We're there to help you Monday through Friday. Don't forget our What's the Buzz seminar on October 13th, and our tax school registrations are online for both at egtax.com. Until next week, we'll see you then.